Siddharth, if you can just explain to us, because it's not just restricted to Assam, is it? There seems to be a common trend, a common link of madrasas being linked to such radicals.
Absolutely, Meghna. It would be wrong to see this latest crackdown that we witnessed in Assam in isolation. This is in fact part of a nationwide crackdown on many privately unaided madrasas that normally escape the scrutiny of the existing mechanisms that exist to monitor what exactly is being taught in these places. So this, of course, is the latest in that series in Moregaon in Assam, where a madrasa founder was arrested for alleged links with the Ansarullah Bangla group. There are, of course, also crackdown in Champaran in Bihar, which took place again in the month of July, where a madrasa teacher was apprehended by the National Investigation Agency and was charged with several sections of the UAPA for allegedly trying to radicalize youth who went to the madrasa there. Hyderabad and Telangana as well, Kanhaiya's killer was allegedly in touch with a madrasa teacher in the city of Hyderabad. The NIA conducted a series of raids and ended up apprehending one of the madrasa teachers there who was allegedly in contact with one of the killers of Kanhaiya Lal. In Bengal as well, there's been a crackdown in different places. Madrasa teacher with extremist links was arrested in the month of March. His name was Aniruddin Ansari. He was accused of shielding two alleged terrorists. These crackdowns have also taken place in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, where 4 Jaish-e-Mohammed terrorists were found holed up in a madrasa in the month of March. And then, of course, we come to another crackdown that had taken place in the state of Assam in the month of April, where 6 alleged Al-Qaeda linked terrorists were apprehended from a madrasa. This has also taken place in the national capital in November 2020, where 2 Jaish-e-Mohammed men were arrested and were allegedly radicalized in a madrasa in the national capital. So this therefore needs to be seen in the larger context of a wider crackdown across different parts of the country where radicalization has been found to take place in several madrasas. Right. This is something that even the governor of Kerala has in fact brought attention to and said that these madrasas need to be scrutinized that much more closely.
In fact, let me go across to Madhav. As Madhav, even Siddharth is telling us, there seems to be a common pattern which is now emerging, and interestingly the NIA is involved in looking into several such cases. This includes even the Kanhaiya beheading case.
Well, there are many such cases, as you rightly put it, and of course, as Siddharth has given us instances, and it's not just those states of Jammu Kashmir, of Karnataka, of Bengal, but also the recent crackdown in Bihar that has led to Madarsas, and that's a more recent one that has taken place in Assam. Not one, but 2 separate instances where there was a similar pattern of not just radicalization, but also links that are being probed as far as Ansarullah Bangla is concerned, and the links to Al-Qaeda and the subcontinent, or AQIS, and Al-Qaeda in therefore Bangladesh. So there is a very, very clear pattern that at least authorities seem to be suggesting that is emerging across states in the country, where in fact there is funding coming in, and all of these individuals are, as Siddharth was trying to tell us, some of them even in the private madrasas, which can escape very easily the normal parameters or the normal ways in which the police and other agencies scrutinize such organizations. And very, very clearly in this particular case, if the police have gone ahead, they've taken action, they've made over 10 arrests in Assam, then very clearly they have found enough material to actually go ahead and crack down and make these particular arrests. Of course, what they will do in a court of law and whether the court upholds that is an entirely different matter, but the fact is that this is not one isolated incident, as you've also very clearly articulated.
Absolutely.
This is incidents that have taken place. Even in Delhi, there was the similar allegation that was taking place in a madrasa. So all of these institutions, in the wake of what the Kerala governor said, is a very, very important development.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Not that we are generalizing, however, there is a trend which is now slowly emerging. Let me go across to our panelist. Naveen Chomal is joining us, a lawyer. Majid Hydari, a political analyst, here with us as well. Mr. Hydari, there seems to be a pattern which is emerging. Now, we are not saying that all the madrasas are linked to terror outfits, but pan-India, there is a worry that slowly several of the sensitive states, even border states like Assam, their madrasas may be hijacked by radicals.
Well, yes, Meghna Saiba, there is a definite pattern in this, because the madrasas essentially teach Islamic principles, Islamic values, Islamic education, and Islam is all about the peace. So if we say that madrasas are spreading terror, we are countering the idea of peace, which Islam essentially is about. Now we need to end this madrasa phobia, because madrasas are about peace. The problem is that in BJP ruled states, every madrasa is coming under the radar for the sake of it, because actual witch hunt is of the minority community. You don't want the minority community to flourish as they had been for the last 75 years of our independence. This is a sudden madrasa phobia, Islamophobia, every phobia against one particular community which is condemnable. And why is it happening only?
Why would you call it Islamophobias? No one's going after Islam, and we are very clear about it. That there seems to be a systemic pattern which is emerging. Majid Haidari, please don't spin it and eject an Islamophobia angle to it. Because it's all based on facts and terror and recoveries and confessions.
Madam, why is it happening only in the BJP ruled states? May I know it? Why is it happening only in BJP ruled Assam?
Actually, it's not. It's there in Kerala, it's there in Rajasthan as well. Even in the Udaipur case, the Rajasthan police has looked into it. They are the ones cracking down. It's happening in Kerala as well, which is, of course, as you know, a left state. So it's not BJP specific.
No, Rajasthan government never said. It was when NIA was brought into that case for the sake of it. They just came up with that story of
Rajasthan government asked for an NIA probe, which is why the NIA is looking into it, which is why the NIA angle has come in. I am just countering you, and you are incorrect when you say only in BJP ruled state madrasas are under the scanner. That's not.
The Kerala government has nowhere blamed madrasas. The Rajasthan government has nowhere blamed madrasas. Even the UP government has nowhere blamed madrasas. The Punjab government has nowhere blamed madrasas. We don't have this kind of blaming even in Bengal, where we have...
So you are saying that this is just a political ploy. Naveen Chomal, would you like to comment? It's just a political ploy. Only the BJP, only in their own states, are going after madrasas.
Meghna ji, kindly appreciate. Religion is the opium of the masses. It may apply to all religions, but particularly the Islam religion, it is acting very fast and very effectively. Now coming to the topic, the madrasa issue is not what has been cropping up in the recent times, but since decades, our police agencies, our investigating agencies, our IB has been wary of the matter. Now the problem is growing out of hand. But let us come to the solution part of it. While it is the duty of the police machinery to prevent the crimes, and therefore they are taking snooping on the madrasas, taking action, particularly the private madrasas, as you have been very elaborately pointing out, and that is so correct. But at the same time, let us appreciate that there is a large section of Muslim people who are absolutely patriotic. They are in the mainstream. So I think we all must encourage them, welcome them to come on our platforms. Let them take the lead, let them lead the masses, and let them, what you say, encourage the people from the community not to go to madrasas. For example, Himanta Biswa, he's been advocating that let madrasas not be functioning, but let all Muslim students
come in the mainstream. As you just heard, he's being accused of playing politics over religion, of being Islamophobic.
No, let us not get swayed by the allegations, because he's got a logic. He's talking to children. If you want to become doctor, engineer, so there's no point in going to madrasa. Come to the mainstream.
Sir, will you ever
that is what he's saying. He's not depriving them of the education. Now, people like Majid Hedri, they are doing the biggest disservice to Islam.
Right.
There are a lot of people, there are so many people in the Islamic community, we know them, they are patriotic, they want to come in the mainstream.
Well, of course, the jury is out on that, whether or not the crackdown has been selective. But what we do know is that the National Intelligence Grid has supplied these intel, and these intel inputs have been acted upon. If there was nothing to be proved, then perhaps these links wouldn't come out. The state police are acting as per intelligence which has been given, and now there is evidence which is backing it, and this includes bank financial transactions of terror funds being pumped into India as well from Bangladesh, from one of the Al-Qaeda links. That is undeniable, however. Thank you so much for joining us, Naveen Chomal as well as Majid Haidari on the show. With that, a short break, don't go anywhere.